Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. I'm so glad you're here today. Now today this is going to be part 3 in our Shine Bright series. I'm going to be using the Betterpress plates and the stencil, and we're going to do some glimmering as well. So I've got the Pebble cotton cardstock from Spellbinders for the Betterpress. And I did some reorganizing in my room and I found my cotton paper. Hallelujah. Anyway, I've also ran out of my best ever craft tape, so I'm using some washi tape to tape my panel down. And I'm just going to get my press plates laid down here on my Betterpress and get them arranged. And I'm just making sure I got enough room for my dies there. And I'm bringing in my Betterpress black ink, and I decided the smaller one would work better, and I've sped this up because I did spend a good deal of time trying to get enough ink laid down on these so I would only have to press once. So I don't ink them up that quickly. So there, we've got it all inked up. We'll just lay our press plate on our platen, and I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders 6 and we'll just roll it through and see how it turns out. And I think I got a pretty good press. I got a little close on this one side, but otherwise I think it turned out pretty nice. So we'll just get that cleaned up and put away, and I'm going to bring in my stencils. Now I did struggle a little bit with the stenciling on this. Again, I'm using my washi tape. That it says Friday, like Friday, Friday is what my tape says. And I'm going to bring in some small blending brushes and we'll begin stenciling on this. I'm only going to show you me stenciling just one of them, but I'll stencil several of them and I'll glimmer several off camera. My kids actually came in when I was working on this, and so I had to stop, and so then when I came back to it, I just got everything prepared, and we'll show you those things. So I'm going to lay this down, and I noticed when you get it lined up with the white, some of the white pieces, you will see some of the pressed areas exposed. And I suppose I could mask them off or whatever, but I take a good bit of time trying to line this up. And then when I came back the next day and did some stenciling, I found that it just worked better if I just moved that stencil around for the different areas and not necessarily taped it down. I just moved it as I was using it, and it lined up better. I don't know if it's user error or what, but I did struggle with it. So I'm just using Kitsch Flamingo, Spun Sugar, and another, I think it's a Victorian Velvet or something, I don't know, color that I'm going to use on this. And we'll just do all three. Now the large and the medium are on the same stencils. You have 1, 2, and 3 for those, and then you have a third stencil that has all 3 of the small ones on it. And I did use this stencil here just to kind of keep me, I suppose you would use this if you were going to actually use the paper that you're stenciling on and not die cutting them out, just to keep real clean edges, but I went ahead and used it anyway. Now I am lining this up and kind of messing around with it, but I do actually cut this footage out because I did have that interruption, and so we'll move on to the rest of the process. So here we are the next day, and you can tell the lighting has actually changed, and I've got some that I've glimmered and those that I Betterpressed. These are the ones I Betterpressed, and the rest were glimmered. I did use some till on that one. I'm going to start off with these 2 Betterpress, the large and the small, and because I think they turned out okay. The larger one had some stenciling issues, but the way we're going to layer them up, you won't notice. I also had some overfoiling on this glimmer here, and I cleaned it up quite a bit, but there were some areas I couldn't clean up, but it won't matter because when you layer on, you know, this is a handmade card, and it is a manual process, so it's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. So I'm taking in one of my A2 Matting Basic dies, and I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to try and make it nice and neat so that we have both the panel and the frame, and I'm removing that tape very carefully because I'm thinking I might use that frame later, so I'll lay it aside. I'm going to take my 2 disco balls, the largest and the smallest, and we're going to create a card with this. Now I'm bringing in some of my Spellbinders black onyx paper, And I'm going to cut it down to A2 size. At first I'm at 5.5 and I'm like, what am I doing? I need to go to 4.25. So I'll realign it and I'll go to 4.25 and I'll have 2 A2 size black panels that I can use for my cards. So I'm just going to bring in a side folding card base for this one, and we'll get our black panel laid down on here, and we're just going to layer our glimmer panel on top of this. And I had left the lid off of my glue, so I had to clean it up a little bit. And I am continuing to just use my little glue bottle and not my glue press. Just got tired of fussing with it. And we're just going to line this up nice and neat on here and throw some glue down. And brush off the little die. I had some little pieces of pink paper that were on the back of that, and just brush that off and lay that down. And I'm going to layer these 2 disco balls on here like this, and try to cover up some of the overfoiling that is on that glimmer panel. And I did, when I glimmered that, I did half of the paper with the glimmer and then the other half with a glimmer, and just tried to line them up. And they didn't get lined up exactly, but it's close enough that it is workable, and I have a full circle of the glimmer there. And I've already taken Shine Bright, and I used that same pink paper that I used for my glimmer panel, and I did my Shine Bright in black and layered that up, and then I took the pink paper and I glimmered a bunch of the Betterpress, or the glimmer, actually they are Betterpress plates that I glimmered, and I've got all of those to choose from. And so I'm going to lay this down on my card base, and it's going to say Shine Bright, it's your birthday, and I think it makes a great birthday card. And it comes together despite all of my troubles and my missteps. It actually comes together and makes a beautiful card. Sometimes when you get going, you're thinking, oh, I just need to trash it. But if you keep going, you press on and endure, you're going to come up with something you like. So I'm just going to lay this It's Your Birthday right underneath there. And I did pop up the smaller ball. And I'm going to bring in the frame, and I'm thinking I'm going to do something with this. But before I do, I decided I need to get my embellishments laid down on my Shine Bright, and I can use them to kind of help cover up some of that overfoiling that I was unable to lift off with tape. So I'll just take a couple of these enamel dots, the large and the small, and lay it there, and then I'll put 3 more around the smaller ball, and this will finish off this card, and I think it turned out really nice. So I'm glad to have this in my collection of cards for birthdays. And now we're going to work on that frame. I've got that frame. I don't want to waste it. It was glimmered. And I decided that I wanted some glimmered disco balls in the same color as the frame, so that we can have some cohesive of design. Plus, I want my 2 cards to be matchy-matchy. I told you in, I think, my last video that I'm trying to, for my picture purposes and my video, at the end of the little card viewing at the end of my video, I want my cards to match. I think it makes for a better presentation. So I'm using that pink, and I'm not stenciling this. I'm just going to die cut these 2 balls out. I've got the large and the medium here. I used the large and the small on the last card. I'm going to use the large and the medium on this. And we're going to get these die cut out. And I'll just bring in my Scout. I've cut them down apart so that they'll fit on my Scout cutting plates. And we'll just die cut them out real quickly. And we're going to get the small one lined up, and we'll get it die cut out. And we've got 2 glimmered disco balls. And I just used the black glimmer from Spellbinders to glimmer them up along with that panel is what I used. And I'm going to bring in my bone folder and give it a good score. We're going to make this one side folding as well. I thought about making it top fold landscape, but then decided against it. I did lay some of that thin foam tape on here and just kind of pieced it, and we'll get it lined up on our black panel. And we've created the basis for our card. So I'm going to just take these two balls, and I thought I need to do something different. It's kind of similar to how I've done the other ones. So I ran and grabbed some of my sentiments that I'm going to use. I'm just going to use the glimmered ones that I use the Betterpress plates and use the black glimmer on the pink, and I'm going to use them. And then I thought I should make these hanging. So I'm going to go and see if I can find some twine. It would be wonderful if I had some silver or something like that, but I didn't, so I just brought in some white, and I'm just going to cut this twine down into 2 pieces, and I'll put them on the back of both of my disco balls, and we'll just kind of hang them from the frame. Now, it would have been nice if I'd have thought of this before I laid my frame down, but you can always work around it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this double-sided adhesive and stick my twine to it, and then I'm just going to lift my frame up. Because I used that foam tape, I'm able to lift it up fairly easy and create a little gap there, and then kind of thread my twine through that. And I think I used my 2-in-1 tool to kind of grab it and pull it up. And then once I get a hold of it, I can just adjust it how I want to. And then I decided, while I've got that lifted, I need to go ahead and get the double-sided tape on the other disco ball and get my twine laid down on there, and then we'll get that slipped underneath there. So we've got another beautiful day today in Indiana. It's going to get up to 78, I think. And it's sunny and gorgeous, and I'm thankful for that. And we just have to enjoy these days while we got the chance. So I think Pat and I are going to run to our youngest daughter's house today and visit with her. We didn't get to see her this weekend. She had to work. And so we're going to run there and visit with her for a little bit. And I think I might run to the nail salon and get my nails done. I'm in desperate need of that as well. And it's in the town that she lives in, so I'll go and do that. So I'm going to get these disco balls laid down on there. And I decided for the smallest one, I'm going to... Actually, it's the medium one, but I'm going to use a small die and die cut out some fun foam. And I just run it through multiple times because it's a little bit thicker and a little bit harder to die cut out. And I'm just going to use the smallest die to pop up this, and it'll make for a good solid popping up of it. I like to use that fun foam when I remember it because I've got a whole little bin full of it in all the colors. And I'm just going to lay this down and then try to weed my or feed my twine through there and get them lined up. And they're kind of laying on the top of each other right now, and I want to be able to see the separation between them, so I'm trying to pry them apart and get them laid on there to where you can see that there are 2 different lines that are holding my disco balls. And we'll just clip that off. And then I'm going to bring in my sentiments, and I'm going to use Be the Light and then Shimmer on My Friend. I like that Be the Light sentiment, and I think Shimmer on My Friend, they go together, and I really like that. And we'll pop these up and get them laid down on there. And then I'm going to bring in some of my Spellbinders. Oh gosh, which ones are these? Let me look and see. Crystal Mix embellishments. I'm going to bring those in, and once I get this laid down, and I think they make the card. So I'm going to look at it, checking it out, and I'm going to go grab those, and I'm just going to lay a bunch of these down. This is a lot more embellishments than I normally use, but I really think it's a great finishing touch to this card, and it makes the card. So we'll just get several of them laid around in that open black area on the card. And they're all different sizes. There's a small, a medium, a large, and an extra small. These extra small ones are super cute. And I'm just going to sprinkle them all around, and we're going to shimmer this baby up. And you can see I was very generous with them. And that'll finish off our 2 cards, and I think they're great cards. I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.